Yeah, this podcast is about understanding counseling and how it works in everyday life. In this episode, we're going to explore how emotional resilience develops over time, often in ways that are easy to miss while they're happening. Resilience is often imagined as something visible, staying calm under pressure, bouncing back quickly, managing things without showing strain. In everyday life, resilience usually looks more quieter than that. For many people, the first sign of resilience isn't strength, it's space. You might notice that situations still register emotionally, but they don't take over in the same way. A difficult moment comes and goes without lingering quite as long. An unsettled feeling appears, but it doesn't demand immediate action. There's more room between what happens and how you respond. This space isn't created by effort, it's created by familiarity. As people spend time noticing their patterns, reaction become less surprising. Uncertainty no longer feels novel or alarming. It's recognized as something that rises and falls. That recognition alone reduces intensity. Early in the series, we explored how roles, responsibility, and identity can tighten emotional experience. Resilience often develops when those roles loosen slightly. When everything no longer feels personally defining, reactions become easier to hold. You might see this in everyday moments. A plan changes, and instead of immediately reorganizing everything, you pause. A conversation feels awkward, and instead of replaying it or leaving, you let it settle. These are small shifts, but they add up. Resilience also shows up in how people relate to discomfort. Instead of trying to remove it quickly, there's more tolerance for letting it exist. Discomfort becomes something that can be felt without being resolved straight away. This doesn't mean people stop caring or engaging. It means they don't need to manage every feeling immediately. Emotional experience becomes less urgent and more informative. Another subtle change is in recovery time. People often notice they return to baseline more quickly. A stressful interaction happens, but it doesn't color the rest of the day. The system recalibrates without as much conscious intervention. This is one of the reasons resilience is hard to track. There's no clear marker. It's noticed in hindsight. You realize something that would once have been difficult no longer carries the same weight. Counseling supports this process by offering consistency, a steady place where reactions can be observed over time rather than judged in isolation. When people see how patterns shift gradually, resilience becomes something experienced rather than pursued. Resilience also grows when people stop measuring themselves against how they think they should feel. When reactions are allowed rather than corrected, the system settles more easily. Acceptance reduces internal friction. Over time, people often describe feeling more steady, even though life hasn't become simpler. They still face uncertainty, responsibility, and emotional demand. What's changed is how much these experiences dominate their inner world. This kind of resilience doesn't make people invulnerable, it makes them flexible. They bend without breaking. They respond without becoming overwhelmed. As this develops, confidence often follows. Not confidence in outcomes, but confidence in capacity. A sense of being able to meet what arises without losing balance. If you're finding this series useful, following the show means these episodes stay together and you'll get the next parts automatically as they're released. In the next episode, we'll continue by looking at how resilience shows up in everyday decision making and why some choices feel easier once internal pressure reduces.